Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Karina. I'm an English teacher and I also have a blog on Instagram. So this is my first video on YouTube channel and I would love to talk to you about how I reached C1 level in English. Well, first of all, I have to say that English is not my second language, it's my third language. I'm bilingual and I speak two more languages since I was a child. It's Russian and Romanian. And this is exactly what helped me to have the right attitude toward languages. When you speak two languages when you're like 6 years old, you don't look at English as a huge big task which is really difficult to do because it's your third language, and when you speak two languages it's like one more, not a big deal. So this is what you have to pay attention on first when you start learning a language. What do you think about it? If you think that it's difficult or you are not so good at languages and it's just impossible task for you, well, guess what? It will be an impossible task for you. So first, look at this as just a new step. It's not difficult. All the other people who speak other languages, and especially English, they also started from scratch. They didn't know English and now they know. So it means they did it, and it means that you will be able to do it too. As I said before, I'm an English teacher and I also like to say to my students, to those who think that English is difficult, I like to say then that, man, you learned Russian. This is one of the most difficult languages ever. And even your native language is not Russian, but any other languages. Pay attention that you were a child and you didn't speak any other languages and you learned your first language from scratch, like by gestures and mime and all the stuff. So to learn the second language, it's much easier than the first language. Keep that in mind and it will help you to go forward and in learning your language. So I started learning English in my second grade when I was a child. I was about like 7 years old and I had a great teacher. I think this is actually the key of my success in English, that I had a really nice teacher, and I can definitely say that a lot of things depend on what kind of teacher you have. If this teacher supports you, helps you, and it's really important for him or her to help you in your way, then yeah, good for you, congratulations, it will help you a lot. And if you didn't have such a teacher, that's fine, don't worry about that, because you can actually be your own teacher. And this is exactly what is my video about, that I learned English by myself. Of course, I started doing that at school, and then when I finished school, I had around, let's say, A2 level or B1. I knew all the rules pretty well, but I couldn't speak. This is, I think, a pretty common problem for a lot of people. So how I deal with this problem? When I was 18 years old, I started modeling and I was sent to some different countries to work as a model there. And this is where I started practicing English, because when you know some rules, some phrases is one thing, but when you start speaking that, oh man, that was really difficult to speak. And I think it took me around 3 weeks to start actually speaking and making sentences, because it's like when you're trying to say something and your brain doesn't listen to you, your tongue doesn't listen to you, and it's just a mess in your mouth. So yeah, that's totally fine too. You just have to go through that in order to achieve your goal. So don't worry about it. If you have this language barrier, it's totally fine. You just have to keep going and talk. The more you talk, the better it gets. So I was working as a model for 2 years, and all this time I was practicing with different boys and girls of different countries with different accents as well. And of course, not all the time I could understand them because they were speaking too fast or too, like, I couldn't understand them actually. I have to admit that. So at the end of my modeling career, I was about 20 years old and I decided to change my field, but this is a topic for a different video. So by then I had B2 level and I spoke quite well. And when the quarantine started, COVID-19, I decided that, well, actually, I can teach English for those, especially for beginners, because I could speak, I could understand, and I'm pretty good at explaining. So I started doing that, and you know, this is exactly which actually helped me a lot to improve my English, because first of all, I started doing it constantly. I had lessons every day, almost every day. Of course, I had some weekends, but I had lessons almost every day, a few lessons each day. And of course, I don't want to say that like to improve your English, you have to become a teacher. No. But you have just to understand the main principle what is behind that job, what I did. So when you start actually like going deep into these studies, like understanding better how grammar works, how to make sentences, how to learn the system like tenses, passive voice, reported speech, all the topic more, let's say, deep, not just some phrases, but to understand how it really works, and then practicing it. The main thing is actually practice. If you don't practice, come on, don't wait that you'll have a really great result. Yeah, it's all comes to practice, and the more you practice, the better you get. So I started teaching English. I had, as I said before, like a few lessons each day, and in total, I would say that I had, let's say, on average, around 4-5 hours of English per day. And you know, when you do it so much English every day, you will eventually become better at it. So the main thought I want to say is that you have to make English a part of your life. Of course, it's not necessary and it's not the only way like to become a teacher or to teach someone else, but you just have to surround you with English. Watch some movies or some series, read some books, find some friends to whom you can communicate and talk and learn some phrases. And besides that, there is really one more important thing, is when you speak to other people, the most valuable thing is actually not just practice. Yeah, practice, as I said before, is really important, but also feedback. Because when you just practice, you can talk, and you will not understand where you had a mistake. Yeah, of course, some people, especially some of your friends, they will feel really shy to interrupt you and just say, hey, you made a mistake. It's not he don't, but he doesn't. Of course, they won't do it. So you have to find a person, maybe a teacher, who will give you feedback, who will correct your mistakes, who will explain you where you have your mistakes. Because in this case, you will analyze what you say and how you actually had to say that to sound correctly. Of course, when I was teaching English, no one could give me feedback, but because I was practicing for a long time, because I've been teaching English for 3 years, and you know, when you spend a lot of time and a lot of effort for something, you will eventually get the result. So if you're learning English and you don't see your progress, just relax and keep going. It's totally fine if you're learning it for some time and you don't see the progress, because, well, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't go like that, actually. It doesn't go like that. It goes like this. Yeah, so you will learn, you will forget, you will learn again, you will forget. And it will go like this, like curves, you know? So don't worry about it if you don't see the progress. Just keep going, don't give up, and eventually you'll have perfect English as you want to have it, for example, as I do. So let me sum up the video. The first important thing is your attitude. If you think that English is difficult for you, then yeah, for sure it's going to be difficult for you. Second, if you have a teacher, that's great. If you don't have a teacher, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it. You can do it by yourself for sure. Third, you have to create a system and make English a part of your life. Fourth, you have to practice a lot, and the more you practice, the better you get. Keep that in mind. And the last thing is feedback. If you have this opportunity to get feedback from someone, do it. Please, the more feedback you get, the better your English will be. So that's it for today. I hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comments probably some of your tips which you use to improve your English, and subscribe to my channel. You will see a lot of interesting videos here. See you. Bye bye.